And we're going to allow or ask Mallory to read the virtual meeting statement, please.
Okay. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Hubbardston Board of Health will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information in the general guidelines for remote participation can be found, skipped the line. General guidelines of remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at www.hubbardstonma.us. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real life time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio and or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible.
Well, thank you, Mallory, and welcome to the meeting, Kath. How are you?
Yep, hi, I'm good.
We're going to ask to jump ahead to the town opening issues for the folks that have jumped in here for the meeting. I don't see it listed on the meeting minutes here, but I don't know what you labeled it, what you listed it as. I don't see it.
It's right under COVID-19 update.
Oh, town reopening. I'm sorry. Shame on me. So if we could jump to the Board of Health review town reopening, please, that'd be great. I have that on my regular email if I can find that on this laptop. You gonna help me out here, Mallory or Kathy, please? I'm looking for my email.
It's about 12 pages long, and it goes through each department and each group of activities. Brian, I think, did a great job. Mallory, did you help put it together?
Nope.
So I believe Ryan did a great job putting this together. It looks very straightforward and clear. My only personal comment was I wish everything was moving along in 2-week intervals and not 3-week intervals, but it's all based on the state guidelines. And so the time frames are appropriate for the state guidelines for us to follow. And so I believe that they're all in order. I don't think we've missed any, or he missed anything that should be listed. And I make a motion that we approve those guidelines.
So
does anybody have any discussion on the motion?
Well, I'll second the motion. And my question is, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see where the schedule is going to allow in-person meetings again. Was that something I overlooked? Did anybody see that?
Yeah, I'm just pulling it open right now for you. Hold on one second.
It's
Can you share that with us?
I believe it's in phase 3.
Phase 3, okay.
Phase 3.
Mallory, you going to try and share that with all of us?
Yeah, I have it on a different. All right, let's see.
You did send it out to everyone, or Mallory sent it out to everyone this afternoon.
I did. I'm going to share my screen so everyone can take a look at it, and I'll kind of go over quick with you guys. See that?
Your voice is pretty torn up on my computer.
Can you see the reopening plan though?
No.
No. All right, I don't know if it's Chromebook's going to let me reopen, but so basically what Ryan did is he's following the guidelines that the state put out. So right now we are in phase 1. which is all of the departments working from home. And come June 1st, we are going to be slowly returning back to work, doing 2 days a week inside the office with no more than 25% capacity inside the office. We're going to be working with people's schedules, you know, dealing with children who have to be homeschooled and all that good stuff now. So while we are in phase 1, there's going to be no public access. So that means pretty much our doors will be shut. People can drop things off in the Dropbox. And all of our phases are going to follow the state phase protocol. So once we go into phase 2, that's when we're going to start doing appointment only meetings then.
Right.
So people will be able to come in and
Your voice is breaking up, Mallory. So on phase 2,
meet with
it
us
starts on June 8th.
one-on-one. As long as they follow as long as we follow. Yep. So that's when we'll start doing it. 2 days a week. We'll be in the office and be taking in appointments then.
Now, is that going to be shared on the internet, on the website for everybody to see for the town office?
Yes.
It's on
Once
It is.
It's on there now.
So can I ask, I see Raylene's here and Katie Young, and I don't know the other lady. Can we kind of formulate a meeting to talk to those folks to help them so we can get through this for them and what we need to do? I know Raylene's here for Rieta.
So part 1 is that we need to approve this first.
Right, okay.
Then we can address Rieta and the town fair issues.
Okay, well, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing no comments, can we take a vote of all in favor of accepting the town manager's reopening of the town?
Kathy, yes.
Ben, yes.
Colleen, yes.
Kate, your microphone, oh, there you go, Kate.
Kate, yes.
Bill, yes, so it's unanimous. So that being presented and accepted, can we go to one of these folks first to hear what they have to say?
One more question I have, Bill. Is this going now back to the Board of Selectmen after we've taken action, or have they already taken action?
They've already taken action yesterday at the meeting.
Fine.
So who should we talk with first?
I'll go first. So I'm Sandra Berry and I'm chairperson of the Parks. And we met with the Board of Selectmen last night. And we just had a couple questions that we wanted to ask you. Parks is opening in phase 2 on June 8th. And we had a question about porta potties. We didn't know if the Board of Health had any knowledge or information about whether we should bring porta potties in or not. The board was sort of thinking not. Just didn't know what the Board of Health thought about that. And also, the park right now is carry in, carry out. And because we're going to be putting signage up, asking people to social distance, to, wash your hands and sanitize their hands after using equipment, because it's going to be shared with others. And there's no way that the parks or the DPW is going to be able to go down there and sterilize the playground every day. It's not going to happen. So didn't know if the Board of Health felt that we should provide trash barrels so people could maybe throw their gloves in there, their masks in there, whatever. Because right now it's carry in, carry out. Don't know if it's going to be a trash problem. So we're just looking for any guidance you have or any guidance you've been given from the state in regards to those 2 things.
All right, so Sandra, the state has put out some guidance in regards to that. As far as trash goes, visitors of public parks, reservations, and open space should expect no disposal or limited barrels at this time. So everything should remain carry in and carry out.
Okay.
And as, as
Mallory, you keep cutting out.
restrooms, as far as restrooms go, so the guidelines that they put out I think there's too many people on. Sandra, I can email you the whole guidelines that the state put out. But basically what they're saying is that all composting toilets and all porta potties, unless they can be sanitized daily, are a no-go right now.
Okay,
And that was put out on May 18th. But I'll shoot you an email with the whole form on it.
okay, that's fine. I mean, I went through as much as I could. I listened to the governors and I read everything I got my hands on, but I didn't see those two things addressed. So that's why
Yeah.
we're going to you guys, so.
There's so much out there, so it's
Yeah.
not surprising. But I'll
Okay,
get that over to you.
you've answered my questions. You've been very helpful. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I make a motion that we stay in line with the governors and the state's regulations of what they've offered us to keep everybody in the same line.
This is from the Department of
Field
Public
use.
Health.
Right, for field use.
Yep. All right, that sounds
I'll
great. Thank
second
you very
Bill's
much.
motion.
You want to go to Katie or Raylene?
Well, you
I'll
want
go.
to
Katie.
that motion, Bill? We've got a motion and a second. You made the motion, I seconded it, so,
All in favor?
yes.
Kathy, yes.
Colleen,
Colleen, yes.
Kate,
Kate, yes.
Vinnie,
Yes.
and Bill, yes. A unanimous vote. Thank you. So let's head to Katie. I see her microphone out there.
I'm here.
Hi, Kate.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, everybody's hanging in here. How's everybody over there hanging in?
Well, I got the nooses up. Nobody's used them yet, though.
Yeah.
So are you here for a purpose or?
Yes, Mallory asked me to join in for this one because the town's got to kind of start rolling forward with, do we or don't we have that's scheduled for the 29th of June. A lot of the vendors still want to have a fair, but again, and the problem is the state didn't really give guidelines of what our fair is. There's nowhere where we have phase two. It doesn't quite say it. And Ryan, I've been working with Ryan trying to come up with an answer. He's been trying to get an answer through the state. And I was just on the Board of Selectmen meeting last night. And I think basically I went over some of my modifications because it's not going to be the same kind of fair, obviously. There's just no way. It'd be scaled back, and I have modifications to try to keep people distance, and I have thoughts and ideas, but again, until we know whether it's a phase 2 item or a phase 3 item, so I don't know what the Board of Health would like from me, if they want to hear what the modifications are that I have, or if they want to talk about it with me at all, or it's just kind of right. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's kind of all up in the air right now, Katie, because nobody knows.
I
And to
know.
have and to have a fair where people are walking amongst each other, but they still have a social distancing. I don't know how we could do that.
Well, the aisles would be widened. What I have for vendors would stay. I haven't been taking applications for a while. I put everything on hold because I didn't know what was going to happen.
So
So
how many do you have? How many active do we have right now?
right now, I want to say there's about like between 30 and 40 vendors. That's it. We would not do any kind of petting zoos or bounce houses or face painting. That's all not going to happen. Nothing touchy-feely. Nothing that like little kids like interactive, none of that stuff, unfortunately. It would be the vendors on one side, and there'd be no samples, no testings, no nothing. We'd spread them further apart. I'd put their cars behind them. I'd have them park behind. That way there's the back-to-back vendors would have a car behind them, and the outlying ends would have a car behind them, so people wouldn't walk behind them. The aisles would spread apart, and the booths would be out farther apart. We'd still have music in the middle. There would be no tables or chairs. I'd encourage people to bring a camp chair or blanket to kind of like find a section, spread out and find a section to sit and listen to the music. There'd still be the food trucks, but I would get with all the food trucks and all those vendors in advance. They'd have to have something that is like a take and go, like not pre-prepped, but something that's quick. You can't wait around 20 minutes for food, because that would just bottleneck everything. It's gotta be speed, get them in, get them out, so they can go back to like their tables and chairs and sit. And, as a family or a group, and maybe, chat with your neighbors next to you, but yet you can still be far enough away. You know what I mean? Like everyone just kind of spread out and maybe see people you haven't seen in a while. But again, it is the 29th of June. So it is, 27th of June. So it is, the last Saturday. So we still have a ways, but with the next week or so, we do have to make a decision, because a lot of the vendors have to gear up for it. And they need to know that they, to get enough stuff to be able to bring to try to sell their wares. A lot of them are in a tight spot because this is the only way they make money, and everything has been canceled. So I have a lot of them that have been reaching out to me saying, please, please, please don't cancel. And I'm like, it's out of my hands. This is something I can't control. This is way out of my league, way above my,
Oh, what's everybody think?
So it falls right kind of phase 2, phase 3, right? So it's like almost
it's
the beginning of phase 3.
Everything goes according to plan. It'd be 2 days before phase 3.
Right. And in phase 2, they do say that outdoor recreation, like miniature golf and public installations, gardens, zoos, and reserves can open. And there are guidelines for that, which I don't know if the board has looked at. It's on the MassGov site. I can share a link afterwards, but I would follow kind of a outdoor recreational activity guide, right? They have guidance for beach managers, parks, open spaces. I think I would just kind of follow that general gist. And if people are social distancing, I think the only thing I didn't hear that I'd want to would be a max, come up with a max space that you think, if you look at the area and you think, how many people could I really safely fit?
Well, that's the good thing about the fields, because there are 5 of them. So
Right.
I can back everything off the center gazebo where the actual music
And
would
spread
be.
it out.
You know what I mean? And make so the food is outlying, and the same with the vendors, we kind of wrap them. You know what I mean? So I can that's the good part about the rec field. It is so vast that I can spread everything.
Right.
So it's one of those, and again, masks and stuff like that. And again, encourage people to, you bring a blanket and just chill. And I'd also, 2 other things, I would not advertise it. It's already got enough, people that know about it. I wouldn't, normally I advertise heavily. I would not advertise it at all. So you either know about it or you don't. And the other thing is I'd also cut it back with time, where I'd cut it back from 10 to 2. So we're looking at 4 hours.
Good,
So at least it would,
good.
yeah. So it would be less
You
time.
think that's enough time for the vendors, though? You think it's fair?
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, because if they're gonna
That's-
buy something, you're gonna buy something. It's like
That's
the,
typical for a farmer's market,
yeah,
and they're
Yeah.
starting to open. So, so I would like to suggest that Berry Farmers Market opened last weekend.
Yeah.
And the Berry Health Department came up with, based on the state guidelines, all the restrictions needed, including a similar layout system that you're talking about. I will have Mallory, Katie, I don't have your email address. So, but I can send you those, I'll send those guidelines out to everybody tomorrow.
okay.
Okay, that'd be great.
Later tonight even. And that's, I think, a good step for how to sell things. And all the vendors need to know that they can't handle anything. They look at what's there, they make their decision, and the vendor hands it to them in exchange for payment
Yeah.
on the spot. There's no
And-
handling anything.
Okay, yeah, and also the same thing was, I saw is encourage, through, I think it was Westminster's Farmers Market, which is Friday. They encourage people to bring small bills, so that way, if you're going to pay for something, you can pay for it the right dollar amount, and there's less excess of handling monies and things like that
Back and forth.
Yeah.
I think each of the food trucks need to have plenty of Purell type product, liquid hand sanitizer, available, not just at the purchase spot, but elsewhere, so people can move off and still clean their hands.
Well, I'm also
So that would be
like,
something extra they would
have it-
have to do.
have it there, at like different spots, maybe at the fair around, so people could, if they chose to,
Yes. The Berry Farmers Market, they're requiring it at every booth.
Okay.
The guidelines when it comes to basically anything are very similar. Like the state wants to see people wearing masks, practicing social distancing where possible, and it's like common sense stuff. And then they have 2 documents that they actually require. One is a control plan that once you have your plan, Katie, you fill out and you have it on hand in case somebody from the state shows up, or if somebody were to be at the event and later found to be infected. And then there's another document that they have a checklist, which we can download and share with you. And they have a poster that they're asking people to display when you get back to business at entrances. And it's something you could probably have your vendors display. And I think that would be
Yes.
sufficient. I would be fine with that. I don't know if the rest of the board feels the same way.
I
would
do,
agree to
Kate.
that. I'd like to see a copy of the posting, but it's with the state. I haven't seen it yet, but that'd probably be fine.
I'll email it to the board. I'll circulate these 2 documents so that we can share them with everybody who's in attendance. Yeah.
Yeah, Mallory has my email for sure, but yeah, it's right on the town website. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would gladly take whatever information, and yeah, we'll if it's allowed to go, it's gotta, we gotta figure it out. So, I mean, I don't know if any of you have gone to Home Depot, and this was before phase 1, and yeah, no, I'm
The
like,
lines.
oh, not even the lines, the elbow to elbow. I happen to walk through the lawn and garden. I'm like, oh God, get me out of here. It's elbow to elbow out there. I'm like, oh, let me out.
There's not a lot of rule takers.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, I could do way better than this at a fair. Come on, seriously, people.
Do we need a motion for Katie to go forward with this, or are we okay with this?
I'd like two comments, Bill. First of all, it sounds like a very good comprehensive plan. You've thought about just about everything. I can't see any holes in what you're planning on doing. 2 weeks ago, Chief Perrin joined us in the meeting, and they came up with a unique method of paying attention to details, and they are offering, rather than to enforce the mask law by penalizing people, they offered to give out masks. He may be interested in having a table as you go into the fair, so that their mask may be available for anybody who may have forgotten one, just as, something
Okay.
that fit in with the program.
Yeah,
But
that's not a bad idea, Richie, because I've gone into stores where there's people in there that either refuse to wear them or they say they've forgotten them, and I always try to remind them that we're still in it, and we're still supposed to wear them. And a lot of times they get offended and leave, but I think that'd be a great thing.
I
to
think
have
we've got a
mask
great
there.
plan to give out masks. I think that's more innovative than trying to penalize everybody that doesn't have it. So they
Oh, I
may
do
be
too.
interested in joining the fair for that reason. But secondly, have you thought about what if nobody comes? I mean, we may, in the next couple of weeks, face a rebound, as they're saying, and I'd hate to see you go through all this effort and have nobody.
It's always the luck of the draw, and it could rain too. Who knows?
Yeah.
You are at the mercy of everything. So it's one of those, you put it together and you just hope for the best.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm suggesting is maybe if you have a contingency plan for even August or September, You know, people
Well,
might
September we
want
have
to come and
field day.
if they-
September day.
we're not in North Carolina, luckily, so, you know, you might find people more interested in staying away than showing up.
I think there's enough people that are interested and would come that I think would be fine. It's like I think the parking will always be a deterrent, so we don't have massive overcrowding. You know what I mean? Because there is only so much parking at the rec field. So, I think but it'd be a decent turnout if you're offering a chance to sit outside and see other people, and actually maybe you can like wave to them and chat to your neighbor and, listen to music and get a bite to eat. I think people would come.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
All the luck to you, Kate.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion that we allow Katie to contact all the vendors that have already submitted applications to go forward with a symbol. I do want to put a contingency in that she has all these plans written out and what each vendor is going to have to do and the map by our next board meeting in a couple weeks on the second Tuesday in June, and just for that final approval.
Okay.
But I think it would be okay to go forward and get this all worked out. I do think you'll have to have porta potties because it's a one-day thing.
Yeah. They'll get
Um,
dropped. They usually get dropped off on Friday and then they get picked up usually Sunday. So they're gone within days. They don't linger.
But I do think each vendor needs to provide Purell or hand
Hand
sanitizer
sanitizer.
at each station. And we can have some around also, but they definitely have to have it at each vendor's booth and food truck. I do think that's really very important because the hand washing is huge at this kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So that's my motion, is that we let you go forward with final approval based on actual documented plans at the next meeting.
Okay.
Who seconded that?
I'll
I'll
second.
second that.
All in favor? Kathy,
Yes.
Pauline,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Finney,
Yes.
and Bill says yes. It's unanimous vote. And thank you very much, Katie. And it looks like Ryan's jumping in here too.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here at the beginning because he's coming yesterday to help with this and parks and Yetta, just to put the 2 cents in from the select board meeting from last night. But he's running obviously a little behind schedule.
That's okay.
And Katie, just so you know, the checklists from the state that I'm going to send you are going to make writing up this very, very simple.
Yeah, I figured.
And also,
Yeah.
and also the Berry Farmers Market guidelines, that will also help gel it together quickly for you.
Okay,
I'll
awesome.
make sure you get them
Yeah.
tonight or tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Kate.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night, you too. I think we're going to welcome Ryan, but he's not here yet. Can we go to Raylene?
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hey, Bill, are you guys looking at a picture of me or can you see me?
We're seeing a picture of you, Raylene.
Oh, good, because it looks way better than I do right now.
I know it's nice not having to go to a meeting physically, but we have to be who we are, I guess.
Yeah.
And Raylene's here for Rieta. I believe I talked to John the other day. He stopped and saw me. I was on a detail. He
Right.
mentioned that he has done quite a bit of work at the Rieta Ranch, trying to set it up for the social distancing. The bathrooms, he's had the place sanitized, and I believe he's got a written plan in place.
There's
Mallory. I'm sorry.
Mallory sent out the plan that
Right.
Mattis has. Did you get to see it, Bill?
Yes, I did. I was just trying to put it out there for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, the plan, we're doing a lot of things, but we do want some direction and guidance on the toilets. We have a question about picnic tables. There isn't, I don't know what we can do about the parking or just the traffic alone that's coming and going. We've got our signs all ordered for wearing masks and social distancing, and well, you've seen, what we've written up so far, but we're welcome to follow any suggestions or, criteria that we need to follow.
Well,
What
my,
time do the,
Go ahead.
what time do the vendors show up?
Well, typically we line up at 5 a.m. We let the vendors in the field at 6 a.m. to set up their wares, and that's when the public is also allowed to go in.
I bet,
I would
I
like
don't
to
know,
see that separated in time.
Okay, separate the vendors from the shoppers.
Yes. So that you can go in and say, okay, you're going to leave every other booth space that they might park in unavailable, so that they have to have separate spacing.
Okay,
It
so
cannot be side by side.
for
our
what,
tables
parking,
are
Kathy?
12.
Are you talking parking, Kathy, or at the tables?
At the vendors' spaces.
Because right now, all they have to do is move the tables, and most of them are, remind me, Riley, I don't know how many feet, but most of them are quite a ways apart.
They're 12 feet apart.
And then
If
you're gonna-
we have them use every other one, well, that would increase the distance. Was it 32 feet? I thought I had written that down.
My biggest concern would be the parking when people get there, and just
Right.
making sure they social distance, and that'd be very hard to enforce. The same thing as doing the fair at the rec field and the parking. The other issues in the park itself with the tables, I feel comfortable the way they have it set up, and they've had it set up in the past. There's quite a bit of room between the tables and the cars parking there, where it separates the aisles and the tables and the people. And as long as people keep the social distancing in mind, I think that would be okay.
All right, so the other issue would be the toilets. I mean, do we open the bathrooms and sanitize them? Or you have a question about porta potties for the town fair, and it need to be sanitized daily. Our people told them if they're sanitized on Friday, they're good for 72 hours, which would include Sunday.
well, given
Not
the
really.
options we have option one, close the bathrooms and add extra porta potties.
Right.
Or option two, open the bathrooms with a monitor and then add porta potties. I would go with the bathrooms and monitor. I don't think anything is more
Okay.
effective in our society than porta potties. And if there's anywhere you're going to catch something, it's going to be in one of them. And I think people would be much more respectful of a facility, a real life facility, and with somebody monitoring it than they certainly would with a porta potty. That would be my opinion on it.
That can be done. We are going to have people set up to be sanitizing all day long. So we've already started buying our products.
I think that the bathrooms I agree with Vinny. I think the bathrooms are a better way to do it.
Okay.
And I know where the access is there for the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And if you guys can put some sort of lineage down for the social distancing for people waiting to use the restroom.
Just like they have in the grocery stores, X's or something
Yeah,
on the floor,
Just something on the wall to
ground.
mark it. Just something
Yeah,
on
and
the wall
mark it.
maybe to mark it. So that, and I know some folks aren't going to respect that, but I think the majority will, because I think if Rieta Ranch opens up next Sunday, I think a lot of people are going to want to go just to get out of the house if it's a nice day.
However,
think
we're
it's gonna
still
be
not in
busy.
phase two.
Well, I'm just talking. I'm not mentioning
Yeah.
Jason. I'm just putting it out there. If they open
Right.
up, I think a lot of folks, it's going to be an outside thing, just like the fair. People are going to want to go to it just to get out of the house and go for a walk, buy something for refreshments or something. And I think that's going to be a big plus for the population. But I think it's going to be busy. And I think if we put the plan they put together, it's pretty good. I like it. My only concern is the bathrooms there, but as long as we can separate that, that's okay. And then sanitize.
Right. So for the food line, because we're on dirt, we've thought of the idea of putting up the cones at the spaces that they should be at with a sign sticking up and above, out of the cone itself. So it's at eye level. So that people, it'll be in their face. You stand here as opposed to just a cone on the ground. So we could do that with the bathrooms as well.
That would be great.
I think Mallory wants to say something. Mallory, your microphone's off, hon.
So, Raymond, the CDC has guidelines on how to clean public restrooms. I don't know if you have a copy of that, but I'll get you a copy of that as well. Along with the guidelines that the Department of Public Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health has put out for public restrooms. So that's what you're going to want to follow, as well as any other suggestions that the board is giving you.
Okay.
So make sure you get a copy of that in your email tonight.
Thank you.
Just so that you're prepared. And I think also before anything is approved, just like Katie, we need to move forward with doing the comprehensive plan that the state put out. So the documents that Kate's going to be sending, or will be sending out to Katie, I'll get you a copy of that too, so we can have an official copy on file. And probably ask to attend next week's meeting so that we can review that in full. Because God forbid anything ever did happen, we want to make sure the Board of Health and yourself are covered with all the legal documents that are needed.
Okay.
So I'll get that over to you so that we can put together the plan that's needed.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Raylene.
Okay, so what you're saying is we won't be opening on June 7th.
No,
Are you looking at the third phase, the June 29th?
Any
Which would be
comments?
closer to where the fair is, which would be kind of our kind of venue, only obviously a little bit larger scale.
Any comments? Oh, can't hear you.
My calendar. So
Oh, there you go. What was that, Kate?
just looking at the calendar.
Oh,
right.
oh, I'm sorry.
I don't
I'm
have that in
preparing
front of me this second
documents
either.
and
Here we go.
calendars.
Well, what does the state say about what's their plan?
Well, where would this fit in the phases that the town is recommending?
Well, the town's following the state. Our plan mimics the state plan. So I'm just pulling open the plan on my phone as well for the state, because I know it talks about outside venues and stuff like that for phase 3, and it hasn't been put in stone yet. So I'm just trying to find it on my phone right now.
So yeah, because phase 2 still has a lot of capacity limitations.
Okay,
And that goes into effect June 8th, and phase 3 goes into effect June 29th, which is where you're supposed to be vigilant and more operations can resume with, these guidances that each business is putting together.
You don't think it'll fit into phase 2? Or phase 1, whatever it is? I don't have it in front of me, I'm guessing here.
Phase 2 starts June 8th.
You don't think it'll fit into that, or could we make it fit?
I don't know the limitations on capacity. See, that's where phase 2, there's
Now,
capacity
capacity
limitation in
Now, would
phase
that
2
be-
still.
Would the capacity be on, because it's all outdoors, would that be intrusive on the bathrooms or the parking?
Probably, but I don't have that in front of me. Did you see it, Kate?
I don't see Kate on here anymore.
Kate, hold on, she just joined again.
Kathy, this is Ryan. I can speak to it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So
Kate's
Kate's back.
the rule from the state right now, as we understand it, is in phase 1, you still can't gather 10 or more. You can gather an outdoor business or recreational space with 10 or more if 6 feet of social distancing is possible, as you guys have been discussing. We are expecting in the next week for the state to clarify the gathering rules for phase 2, and we're hoping that they allow for greater capacity as you're talking about. So I'd say we're hopeful that we enter phase 2 on June 8th, given the number trend, and we'll know first week in June what that new number, gathering number, or capacity number will be right before then.
So it'd be fair to say to probably ask them to come back with the plan at our next meeting on would it be the 9th or the 2nd? The 9th, to possibly open on the 14th, if the state approves it.
I think that's a good idea, Bill.
Okay, so when is the next meeting for you or the selectmen?
Our next meeting for the Board of Health, I believe, is the 9th.
June 9th.
Correct.
Yeah, second Tuesday.
Yes, June 9th, and then I'll make the final approval to open for you, hopefully on the 14th, that following Sunday.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
So if,
But it,
go ahead, I'm
Bill.
sorry. No, go ahead.
yeah, we're probably gonna say the same thing. Go right ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if we get the plan to everybody quick so we can review it, that would help a lot at the meeting too. And hopefully the state gets back to us so we can go forward with all of this.
Right.
Okay, any other discussion? Should we make a
No.
motion or should we just wait? Any comments? guess
I
we
don't know
a
that we
motion.
need a motion. I would say that I agree that they can start moving forward with the hope of opening June 14th. With maybe some more ideas for parking restrictions of some sort that might be helpful.
That sounds great.
Okay, I'm going to pass all this along to John, and we'll discuss that in the morning. And Mallory, you get me those forms and those guidelines, and we can get going.
Sounds great.
Yep, sounds good.
Anybody else? Thank you, Raylene. Have a great night.
I thank you for your time and effort, folks. Take
Good night.
care.
Good night.
Ryan, are you going to sit on the meeting, or is there something you'd like us to key you in on? I see that his microphone's off. Oh, here he is.
So, hi, Bill. Sorry, I'm just having trouble hearing. So you caught me at a 2-hour grocery store visit, so I apologize for being late. I'm here in case the board has anything for me. I don't plan on staying on. I did want to update the board on the town meeting plan, which is moving forward at this point, if you're willing to hear it or want to hear it.
Sure.
Okay, so right now we are planning to have town meeting. The town meeting warrant has been carved down to all but basics and very important items. So we do believe, minus unforeseen debate, which will still be open for, that the meeting will last less than an hour. And the plan right now is to have it at the Curtis Rec Field on June 23rd. So we would be putting out stakes on the ground and creating 6-foot boxes with individual chairs for folks to sit in. And we'll have a mechanism for voting, colored cards that'll be very obvious, and a PA system in order to, with a socially distanced central microphone for people to speak at, and of course be requiring face masks and making sure we have proper signage for funneling folks, so there's limited to no contact. So that's the current plan. If it's raining, which is a possibility, of course, we plan to continue the meeting to the next day, the June 24th. And if the frost is terrible, we have the option of moving the meeting.
We're losing you, Ryan.
to the Hubbardson Center School, which is less desirable because of the current state of everything. But we do believe we can fit everybody in there unless there's full capacity.
What time was the meeting scheduled for? Tentative meeting?
Ryan?
Did I lose everybody?
Yeah. What time is the meeting scheduled for in the rec field? Can you hear us, Ryan?
7 o'clock.
7. Okay.
Bring
Move
your own
it up.
buttons.
Yeah, I think maybe if we move it up a little earlier, that would be helpful in regards to bugs and mosquitoes.
How early?
6 p.m. 6 p.m. Is that too early?
That's what I'm here to find out. If folks think 6 work, of course the only issue there is potential quorum problems, but we're balancing public health and quorum right now with everything. So
Because by 7:30, the bugs start to get bad.
6
I
o'clock
agree.
start would be fine.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ryan. Well, I'm sorry, Kath.
Yeah, I recommend 6 p.m. as well.
And I think people will make it for 6. I don't think that's going to be an imposition.
Ryan, are you still there? Looks like he's gone. His microphone's off. Oh, he's gone. In case he pops
Okay.
back, should we go back to our agenda?
Yes, I think so.
All right. Review of last meeting minutes of May 12th. Did everybody receive a copy and review them?
I did, but now I can't find them to look at them again.
I can't get into them.
I haven't reviewed them, Bill, and I don't have the meeting minutes for tonight because I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't get anything to come up. So
I didn't see anything wrong with them, but we can hold off.
I'm taking notes here. Tomorrow I'll try to download everything. It says my internet connection is unstable.
Our connection
How
tonight.
does this computer know me?
Our connection tonight is very slow. So,
Yeah.
do you want to wait on the vote on the May 12th minutes until next meeting, possibly?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Yes, let's wait. Let's table the
COVID-19
vote.
update. Okay, COVID-19 update.
Well, Hubbardston still only has one active case of COVID-19. We were able to get some more supplies, which included some surgical masks, some more gowns, and hand sanitizer, as well as a box of the KN95s. So we have a pretty good stockpile right now. We have about, I'd say, 80 of the N95 with the respirators, and then 100 or so other masks to use if we ever needed for a clinic or anything like that. And then we have enough to supply the town hall employees for when we reopen, because we are going to be required to wear them in instances where we can't social distance, both when we're in our office and when the public is going to start coming back in. The town has gotten some plexiglass to put on our counters, so there's a barrier between ourselves and anyone that may be coming into the office. It just has a little spot to slide your hand in so you can slide papers in and out. Doesn't cover the whole length of the counter, but it's about 3 feet wide, but it will serve its purpose, especially where we're going to be limiting the number of people that come in. It's going to be by appointment only, so it's not like we're going to have lines out the door. So that's where we are. And I don't know if anyone paid attention to the numbers, but looks like we had a little bit of a jump today in the case numbers in mass. We did a steady decline for a little bit, but I'm sure the holiday didn't help. But we have a couple more cases than we did yesterday. in the
Why,
state.
I have a question on that state, when they put out the thing every week. It says, it no longer says Hubbardston has less than 5 cases. It says Hubbardston has 5 cases.
I think that's a cumulative. So
Right.
since the
Total
start-
numbers.
Yeah, so since the start, so that's what they're recording is since the start of tracking how many each town has had.
Okay, so that's just, they just keep adding on to them.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right.
so that's still phenomenal. That's a great number to have. Hubbardston's done a great job.
So all the gowns and other supplies came from our Massachusetts regional group that we're a member of. Steve, who's the president of that, sent out an email that he'd gotten all these supplies, and I chose to order a certain number so that if and when a vaccine comes out and we have to run vaccine clinics, we'll be able to protect ourselves if we find there's any active cases or whatever while running a vaccine clinic. So that's the purpose of getting some of that now.
One question, Kathy, that when we changed accounts before and we did away with the vaccine money that we had put aside for that, would we have to pay for those vaccines for the people in town? Now that we don't have that money anymore.
The money is earmarked, if you will. I mean, we haven't spent it.
Right.
And it's still in our general revolving fund. And we're holding it there, especially now, knowing that we may have to have vaccine clinics next year.
Right.
We're not going to spend that money. It's going to stay as an excess amount in our revolving account.
Okay, awesome.
We did keep a contingency amount in the original fund for vaccination.
Correct. Right.
I just
We
wanted
can-
to bring it up because I knew we had changed things around in case anybody have any questions. I just wanted to verbalize it too.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the COVID-19 update? Do you feel we covered the Board of Health review of the town reopening plan? We made a motion too, didn't we? So we're all set
Yes,
with
and
that, correct?
You
Yes.
guys all have a copy of it in your email too, so if there's any other, any questions, feel free to jump in. We did follow the state like pretty close. I'm assuming it's gonna change as the state changes.
Right.
If we have influx again, Ryan will be doing the best to keep us safe and keeping us home if we have to. But it is what it is now. So, and there's also a link to the state site that Kate was talking about in your emails as well, which goes over literally every detail of the reopening for residents, for business owners, for anyone you could ever imagine. So there's a link to
Well,
those.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments, folks? Bless you, Kathy. Update on field systems awaiting action, 10 Main Street. No news? 30 Main Street,
No
39
news.
Dogwood Lane.
30 Main Street, I believe they're gonna start work on that tomorrow.
They can't start work without a permit. We don't have a permit. They haven't applied for it yet.
They told me today they have the installer's permit.
They have their installer's permit, but they need a permit to put the system in the ground. So they have their permit to do business in the town of Hubbardston, but they never applied for a permit for the actual system.
The one you sent, the one you sent them today was the installer's permit. I asked you to send them the one that you wanted to receive from them, but you sent me the installer's permit for that. Well, that's what they said they have. They discussed it with Matt. There was an upgrade they wanted to make, and the engineer for the client agreed with it, and the engineer, Matt Hopkinson, for the Board of Health agreed with it. So they were going to bring whatever you need tomorrow and get things cranked in,
So that was,
along with the fee.
What's Ben, do you have a phone number of that person that we should talk to?
Sure.
Yeah, I've sent them the application. I must have I pulled it off the website, so I must have sent you the wrong one. I apologize. I've sent them the application to do that specific job multiple times. And if there has been communication between them and Matt, we don't have that on any of our plans in the office, which would be what either yourself, Kathy, or Bill would be using when you go to inspect. So.
Well, all I know is that when you sent them the permit today, they have a license in hand. They paid for that, and they said they spoke with Matt, and Matt agreed with the one change, which was making a change from a concrete D-box to a plastic D-box. That was the only modification. And they plan to start tomorrow and bring up whatever paperwork we want and a
They
fee.
can't start until the paperwork's received.
The paperwork is a state form. It's for any system they install will have the same form. So it's what we keep on file that says, this is the installer, this is the engineer, this is when a job started. And that's what Kathy or Bill, whoever does the final, signs off on, saying this is their certificate of completion for this permit. And that's what banks are going to be looking for.
So we have two forms on the website. I think they're labeled D and G, and they are the same form. Is that the form you want them to fill out?
They need to fill out installer's permit to construct or alter. Installation, construction of a septic system, Form G. So that's when that's how we assign a permit number and how we track it for if the state ever came in and audited our files. That's what they're.
So it's the same as both.
No, it's not. It's not the same as the installer's form.
No, but on the website, we have Form D and Form G, which are both the same form. So if they bring one of those along, that's what you want them to do.
That's what needs to get approved.
And I believe they also have to pay the fee prior.
$205.
Excuse me?
$205 fee.
Which I believe they should. I believe they should know that.
I've told them that multiple times since this whole project started.
Have you spoken with Kim Berkhume personally?
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. That's all I know.
I know. We just have to follow the rules, so it is what it is. We need the form, we need the fee before they can start work.
I told them to bring it up, put it in the gray box.
I was there this afternoon. I haven't gotten anything yet.
Well, they're gonna come in tomorrow.
Oh, well,
They can't start the same time that the money comes in.
Do we need to meet on that application and approve it? Or are you gonna just approve it when it comes?
Kathy can approve them.
Who?
Kathy.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah.
What's the phone number? What's Kim's phone number, Vin? Do you have that?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, let's not put it over. Let's not put it.
Yeah, I'll have it and send it to you with an email.
Yeah, I'll text it to you right now.
Okay.
All right, hearing all of that, do we need any more discussion on 30 Main Street? If not, we'll move on to 39 Dogwood.
So I had spoken to the installer or the inspector who went out to this site and kind of gave us a heads up that it was coming. The Title V report came in the mail today, so I emailed a copy of all that to you. It's a field system where the tank is in it's okay condition, but the drain field is backing up into the tank. So it's going to have to be replaced, and we have not gotten any paperwork on it yet.
When we get the paperwork, I'll go out and take a look at it.
Yep.
Over the winter, 40 Healdville Road was trying to do perk tests for new construction. And we have kept in contact. It's not on the agenda. But I went out yesterday morning and supervised the perk test, which passed at 40 Healdville Road. So the next step goes back to the Rich Stevens sending in his copy of it, and then the Matt sending in the plans, and it's gonna be a joint effort with the whole new construction process. So you'll be handling all of that, Mallory, I'm sure.
Lucky me. We have quite a bit going on. So that's good.
Any more that came under past Title V or Title V permits, items to be signed?
Yeah, that would have been under open it, inspect. It would have been under inspections. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Well, that's okay. Do we have any permits or items to be signed?
We have, so under, it's kind of combining two of them under open repairs or inspections, Kathy. We got a couple of approved plans back from Mac today.
Okay.
So I just have some that I will be sending over to you via DocuSign from Ryan. But what we have is a 106 Old Princeton Road that's going to be a new build. 75 Berry Road was approved with a local upgrade, which the engineer put in when he submitted his plans, and Matt approved it. So there'll be 2 forms to sign for that one. We had one for 59 Brigham Road, which I believe was Collier.
Right. You gotta, Mallory, you have to change that. That's street, not road.
Street. Okay, it was a road on plan.
You got to make sure they got that right, because we also have a Brigham Road in town.
Oh, do we? Okay. Yeah, I will make sure then. So on Matt's notes on the Title V, or excuse me, on the plans, was that he is rejecting this plan to expand from a 3 to 4 bedroom. He is going to require a full Title V for test holes to parks, reserve area, as it's going to require quite the upgrade. And then we also had a plan for 87 Hill Road that was rejected as well.
Oh my goodness.
And a plan for 7 Moosehorn Hill Circle. That was the condos that came to us right before we ended up on our Zoom meetings. And he did approve their plan as well. So that pretty much covers all of the open plan or inspection reviews. So Cassie, you'll have 2 coming over to you that you need to sign, 2 that are going to require quite some upgrades. And Matt will be working with the engineers and all them direct. He is going away on vacation next week, so there may be a little bit of a lag. We did also get another new plan in this afternoon for another new build on Mount Jeff. And he is going to try to squeeze that in for us before he takes off on vacation.
Sounds good.
Busy. I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit of a new build boom, which is kind of cool.
All right. I just had my daughter come in here. Excuse me just for a minute. I lost my train of thought. Is that on Title V and septic?
All I have.
Hearing that, the open complaint from the Hubbardston House, mass complaint.
So I went there last week, and the manager was not there. Everyone that I saw walking around did have their masks on. They would benefit from better signage that makes it more clear what they are supposed to do in the lobby areas. But I did not get to talk to the site manager. She was not there when she was supposed to be there. And that's as far as it's gone.
Do you think we should send them an email or a letter saying that they need to update their signage and maybe a copy of the state plan? And did you set up the meeting with her, Kathy?
Not officially. Mallory's and said that she had talked with her and she had indicated that she would be in, it's a Thursday, last Thursday, between 9:30 and 12. And I went at 10 and there was nobody there.
So, Bill, there are signage available for businesses, for both employers and workers on the state website. So I would say we can send them a link and ask them to print them and put them up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Maybe not just even in just the lobby, but I know what they do, like communal, well, no, not anymore, but they have like a communal space with food. So anywhere that is considered a common area should definitely be well equipped with signage.
Which they have that there.
Yeah, it's literally the state has put out more information than anyone could ever need. So, again, the state has been wonderful. So I'll send her a link and just say, per the request of the Board of Health, like get this up in common areas if possible.
Tell them I'm going to come back
Okay.
next week and check to see that the signage is up.
Okay.
Is that enough time the way it is trying to get things, especially with masks and all that?
You just have to hit print and tape it.
Oh, really? Okay, great. That works. Any more on the Huff House complaint? If not, the 111 Gardner Road trash complaint or trash.
We haven't gotten any response from the letters we sent out from our last meeting on either of those two. 111 and 85 Gardner Road. So I don't know if the next steps would probably be an on-site inspection. And we'd have to do the violation forms and write an actual violation letter. If they don't, I don't know if you want to give them more time to get back with us or what have you, but we ask politely, and then the next steps would be probably to bring out code.
I think we should send another. I think in the past we sent out
2 letters.
one letter.
2? Okay.
Just in case they didn't get it.
Sure.
And then at our next meeting, if there's no response, then Bill, maybe you and I can go out and
Sure,
visit.
not a problem. We're more than happy to.
Okay,
Any more
that sounds
discussion
like a
on?
plan.
I'm sorry. Any more discussion on the 85 Gardner Road? 248 Gardner Road, trash complaint.
This is a new one that just came in. An abutter called concerned with the amount of garbage that has been collecting at 248 Gardner Road. So I don't know if anyone has any history with it or what have you. But this is probably another one that's going to require a letter first and then go from there.
We put it in perspective. Whereabouts on Gardner Road is 248?
I'm looking it up right now, Benny.
What date did that complaint come in?
It was very recent. I forwarded the email to you. I can forward it again if you want.
Yeah, you'll have to forward it to my Ladybug Gmail again because I
The
didn't get that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
No worries. Sometimes I jump on computer to computer to computer, so my phone, and
Yeah, I understand
I
completely.
feel like I'm playing music chairs of technology. Some program works on one computer, doesn't on the other.
That's the property that's on the left-hand side when you first come into town. It's got all the cars on the left going up the hill, the old Benoit property.
Where we thought it was a junkyard in the back on the right-hand
Yes,
side going
yes.
north. Yeah, I went by there today. That's a real mess.
Well, I think more so than just a trash. I think it's a building inspector's
It's
issue
definitely a zoning violation.
for the fact that it's not a car lot and they've got so many vehicles in there.
Actually, the unregistered vehicle is just, all right, is there more than one unregistered vehicle?
There's like 30 of them.
Okay. So I'll bring that up because when I spoke with Roland about the other unregistered vehicle issue, he forwarded it over to the police department.
Right, that
So
was
I'm not-
one vehicle, that was a camper, I believe, that you were talking
Yeah.
to them about. This one here is numerous.
Oh, geez.
Um,
Okay. So it's probably
I'm
going to
looking
be
at the
a
pi-
combination.
Right, I'm looking at the picture here, and I've driven by many times, there's been quite a few. And it comes and goes, because I see cars coming and going from there too, so.
Oh. What do
Well,
you
we
think?
deal with the trash complaint, and the building department would be involved with the zoning violations. So what do we want to do with the trash complaint?
Well, I think a joint venture inspection would probably be great if we could do that.
Yeah, Mallory, if you could work on setting something up with Roland, that would be great. Next week would be good. If you would notify the person that made the complaint that we plan to do a joint inspection next week sometime,
Okay.
Any
so that
more
we're still
discussion?
timely on this.
Okay.
Any more discussion on the trash complaints? If not, we're gonna go into the MPHN nurses report.
Yeah, so there's really nothing new other than the one case. Our nurse has been phenomenal. We had a case reported to us last week on a Berry Road that she called me and she's like, I can't find this person. What are we going to do? So it ended up us doing some research, and I found that the person actually doesn't live in Hubbardston. So I was able to do that by looking through the registry of deeds, trying to find a deed for him. So other than that, it's excitement. It's really been quiet on her end.
Oh, good.
She does what she has to do, reaches out when she needs help from us, which so far has been really simple, and hopefully it stays that way. So I definitely don't foresee her going away anytime soon, but we've been really lucky.
Any discussion? Not hearing any under old business food inspections. We haven't started those yet.
Well, I was going to start on Monday, then realized it was a holiday. So that kind of threw me off for the rest of this week. So I'm already, from my mental time schedule, a week behind, but I'm still planning on starting.
To that end, Mallory, is there a way on our Google that we have do we have a shared calendar at all through our Google account?
I don't know. I'll have to ask the IT if we don't, is there a way to get it? I'm not.
There should be a way on the drive that we can share a document that is just a calendar page for the month.
Yeah.
And then Kathy, if you want to pick when you're ready or able to do inspections, and pick some days, and then we can fill in when we're available on those days.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, because
That sounds like a great idea.
all right, what I'll try to do is find a calendar template that we can just put on the drive and then share, or even share via email, and that way, Kathy, you kind of fill in the blanks, and then
Yep.
Bill and I can
Yep.
fill in as a second.
Yep. I like that a lot. That'll help me a lot to
Definitely.
not put it off.
Any more on food inspections?
Just one more quick thing. I know we talked about getting some more thermometers. Kathy, I found the thermometer that you have that's $49.99. So it's the exact same model. If you're happy with it, we can order it through Amazon.
Did you find anything about what Bill had described?
The only ones that I could find were actual separate. I couldn't find a combination one on the sites that I was searching. I don't know if I was searching the wrong term or whatnot, but I would find sets that you actually probe the meat instead of just shooting a temp. But
That's
none of
fine.
that was
That's
combined.
fine. I used those for many years with the state, and they work well.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
kind of
it'd be
better.
cool to have, but I think it would
Um,
be a pain to carry two thermometers with you.
Well, the ones that they used to make, and I've been out of there 8 years now, so maybe they're not selling them anymore. But it actually pops right out of the bottom. It's attached.
Yeah,
to the
that would be cool.
thermometer. It's a good backup too. But
Definitely.
we need this other one. I think is more important to have it on hand. So
Yeah. So
Should we get
Let's
to-
go ahead and get the model like I have that I gave you the information on.
2 of them, or?
Do we
Yeah,
need a
2.
motion to make a purchase, or can we just do it?
We can do it because it's only $50 a piece.
Okay. Any more on the food inspections? Hearing no discussion, trash hauler regs on hold. Any updates or anything new?
We're waiting until we can hold our public hearing.
Right, that's what I figured, recycling center.
So, I still haven't sorted out the electric for the recycling center. But we can operate it the way we have all of last year without electricity. So the second Saturday and Sunday of June will be in one of those categories of restricted time and numbers of people. Bella is willing to work both mornings. And I think we should go ahead and have the recycling center open both times, both days.
Sounds good. Do we need a motion, or should we just say okay? Any discussion? Anyone?
I don't know that we need a motion.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we'll just plan to put the information out on the website. Mallory, help me to remember to confirm with Bella that we're going to go ahead.
Maybe one of us just kind of should be there anyway to go over protocol of like masks, and we did get all that hand sanitizer from Steve, so maybe we provide a bottle there.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
the N95 masks, which have been shown not to provide as much protection. So we should probably make sure that we put a little stack of them there. Just in case someone shows up without a mask, we can give them so we can finish the transaction.
Okay,
Keep everyone safe.
definitely.
any more discussion on the recycling center? Seeing or hearing none. Under new business, Finn's update to the failed Title V protocol.
I wrote up a supplement to what we discussed 2 weeks ago and sent it by email to everyone. If you can retrieve it or had a chance to look at it. I'll read it if you'd like. That'd help. If anybody can't get it.
I did read, actually, it's on this one. Too many computers.
I know, I'm working with 2 as well.
How do we minimize these screens so that we can go back to our emails? Is there a way to do that in Zoom?
So up in our upper right-hand corner, there should be the minimize button.
Exit full screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but didn't that one come?
If you're in full screen mode, if you hit your escape key, it will take you out, and then it will give you the option to minimize.
Okay, I was able to go to a smaller screen. Now, can we open our emails with that?
You just have to hit that one dash. That one dash will minimize your screen, and then you can pull it back open. I can also read it too from my other laptop if that would be easier.
Yes, please do that, Mallory.
All right, give me 1 second.
Mallory, can't you share this on our screen?
It's not giving me the option to. I tried to share it with the reopening plan, and I don't know why it's not letting me.
So you can still hear me, however, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so why don't I read this? We discussed the previous motion, everybody seemed to be in agreement with, and we wanted to finish it off with some type of, of consequence. And I wrote the following: any violation of this regulation shall be subject to a minimum penalty of $50 per violation. Each and every day that a violation exists shall be considered to be a separate violation under these regulations. The enforcement of this regulation will be by non-criminal disposition, meaning it just means a fine. So that would conclude the basic motion for that failed Title V inspections in order to get them fixed in a more timely fashion.
I think that's good. So when it says each and every day, are we doing based on a business week of Monday through Friday? That's the only thought I
don't
had.
believe violations of business days. I believe they're days of the week and violations of.
Okay. Okay.
Now, refresh my memory, Venice, was this on the homeowner or the Title V company that's working on it, or both?
Well, the idea is to get the system repaired, replaced as soon as possible. So
Bless you.
with the original motion that we had, it would require the engineer or the Title V inspector to report the failure within the 30 days, and the homeowner and or their agent to come to a Board of Health meeting within 60 days with a plan to fix the problem and some. And we got that far, but we didn't have a consequence at that point. So this was the conclusion of the motion, which I'm summarizing, of course.
Right. The only question I have about that is 60 days enough time for somebody to get somebody to make up a plan? Because I know in the summertime when it gets really busy, some people can't do that. On the other hand, who's going to be officially written up for this bylaw? Is it going to be the homeowner, or are we going to cite the inspection company person, or both? I don't think we're stipulating that in this.
Well, the motion is directed towards both parties, for the person doing the inspection to be compliant in their reporting, but ultimately, the Title V fix, if I could just use that word, is the responsibility of the homeowner. Now, for them to come to the Board of Health with a plan, it would be something that we could either approve, deny, or modify. But the idea is for them being the responsible party because it's their septic system, and hopefully they would look for some professional help to assist them with a plan. They would come in and say, I'm broke, I don't have the money to do it, at which point we can turn them on to the money that's available for these fixes. Or they can come in and say, it's going to be 30 days down the road, we'll have ABC coming in and everything just gets in motion. And I think it's an opportunity for us to give them the feedback so that we don't have outstanding failures for, in this case, some like 10 Main Street, almost 2 years.
That's been more than 10
The plan's
years.
going to have to be up to them to develop. Whatever it may be would be a work in progress. And then we would assign an agreement that would be enforceable so that they have to go through with it.
My only question on that, Ben, was officially it's kind of vague. Do we cite the homeowner or do we cite the inspector?
It would be the homeowner because it would be their system.
Okay.
That would be my proposal. However, we need to have, as I outlined in the previous couple meetings, a method of making sure the inspector is aware of these rules so that they're going to be complying with them also.
Well, I believe if we put a link on the website, or if when they fill out their permit, they have their license in the town of Hubbardston to inspect, we could give them a copy of that.
Hubbardston doesn't permit for inspections, the state does.
Yeah, the state does the permit, but there's two other links in that email. One is to the state law that allows us to develop a specific list. Now, Mallory gives out the list from the state, which is fine. But we can develop our own list of a minimum of 5 people that we can give out. And I would suggest that we asked for the inspectors to voluntarily come in to be on that list. And at that time, they agreed to this regulation so that they're aware of it and we don't get, geez, I didn't know about that type of problem down the road.
So I don't think we can solicit inspectors to be on that list. They have to come forth and ask us right out. So that I've never had that happen where an inspector says, and we'd have to have at least 5 inspectors come forward to the town of Hubbardston completely unsolicited and say, hey, if you have a list, I'd like to be on it.
Well,
How do we make that happen?
We have to have a communication so that people are aware of it. And it would also make it easy for the homeowner to make a decision on who they hire for the Title V's.
Now that you're
on
saying
the
that though,
website.
Mallory, Vinny, now that she said that, she's right that anybody in the state can take that test and get certified.
I understand that, Bill. I'm not arguing that. But what the regulations also give is each town the opportunity to develop their own list. So if you're an inspector and you want to be on a specific list and we get those 5 people, then we can publish it. That would be beneficial for whomever is in town that wants to do business in town because they're local. And if we don't get the 5 people, then we just have to make sure anybody who does these inspections are aware of the regulation. That's all.
It's going to be really hard because 99% of the time before an inspection is even done, or when an inspection is done, the inspector doesn't even come into the office. It's the homeowner calls and says, hey, I'm selling my house. My realtor says I need an inspection. And 99% of the time, a realtor has someone that they recommend. Or, you know, oh my gosh, my septic's bubbling. I call someone who installs. Most of them are inspectors themselves. So we don't always know when an inspection is going to happen. I don't think there's any way for us to ever truly regulate that in itself. We can't go above code so much to say that before an inspection is done in the town of Hubbardston, someone comes forward to the Board of Health, especially when there's those emergencies that happen on a Friday night or a Saturday night or.
Well, regardless of that, Mallory, it's already a state law that they need to report in 30 days.
Right.
So all we're doing is reinforcing it and making a regulation so that the 30 days gets adhered to and a plan gets drawn up for a quick fix. You know, I just think that that's the most logical way, and it's not a punitive situation at all. It's simply a matter of making sure people are aware of the details, and that's a very important detail. You have a failed septic system. Not only do we need to know about it, but you have to get it fixed.
Any more discussion?
I think that the basic regulation that Vin has written with the $50 fine portion is fair. And if we go forward with it, I don't think it restricts anything that is being done. And hopefully we won't end up with 10 Main Street kind of problems. And 30 Main Street kind of problems. This gives us a more town-wide legal arm to for Mallory to inform folks of what needs to go on next and how soon. I think that's Vin's point, and I think that's a good idea.
Point of information, I believe we've already approved the motion, the main motion. We were just waiting to supplement it with the enforcement component that for this evening.
Yep,
We should be
that's true.
Did we already have a motion on this?
Yep, we did.
So we don't need another motion, so this is just the update then.
We need the motion to accept the supplemental portion that we brought in tonight.
With the
All right,
enforcement.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone want to make a motion to accept Vince's change or the update on his Title V protocol?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion on the floor to accept the new Title V protocol?
Do you think
Hearing
we
none,
should-
all in favor?
Aye.
Kathy,
Yes.
Kate? Your mic's off, hon.
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
And Bill votes yes, unanimous. Next thing on the agenda would be the budget spreadsheet.
The turnover numbers looked fine that Mallory sent to me. That's all I have.
I also sent out later this afternoon when I went in and got Matt's plans. He included his bill for review. So I don't know if you had a chance to see that. So he has 7 reviews that he's done for us that go all the way back to 10 New Westminster Road at $150 a piece. So his total bill is $1,050.
For Matt, our engineer, that's mine.
Would be paid from the septic revolving account, which all of the fees from these reviews were placed into, so there's more than enough to cover.
Correct.
Is that covered by the fees that we get from the people when they file?
Yes, it is.
Anything that comes through that requires a review goes into a separate account from the Board of Health revolving account. So the septic account houses money that people pay out for the reviews that will pay for the person who was reviewing them.
So that looks fine to me. That sounds about the right number. I haven't personally counted them, but that sounds right.
Is this just an update? We don't need a vote, correct?
Correct. Just keeping everyone aware of where the money is going.
The beaver permit for the DPW on New Templeton Road.
Yeah. So last Thursday, Travis called. They had a beaver issue at the culvert. The road is flooded. The trapper was right there in-house, ready to get set up. So spoke with Kathy, okay to go ahead and move forward and give him a 10-day permit. If it hasn't reached the full 10 days yet, I don't have a report of how many beavers were trapped. But the road looks beautiful. It looks like they cleared whatever damage the beavers had done. And I have seen the trapper out there a couple times on my way in and out of the office.
Any unexpected subjects?
I have one. Go back to a couple of weeks ago when we discussed the proposal I made about the regulations. We discovered, or I discovered and brought it to everybody's attention, that under the law, Title V, condominiums are required to do a Title V septic exam every 3 years. I never knew that. I don't think many of us did. But I'm also pretty sure none of the condominium complexes in town have done it. And Mallory, you were going to reach out to the Board of Assessors for information on them? Was that?
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything back yet. I know that they're in an adjustment period right now. They have a new admin. So she is working on that and a couple other things for us.
Okay, so we should,
Yeah.
Have that on the agenda.
yeah, put it on the agenda so we send a letter to the condo. Now, many of these condos, I think Moosehorn, for instance, each and every one of the condominiums have their own their own septics. But I'm not sure about the others. If it's a common septic system, I think that's where we have to look at.
I know Briarwood has a common septic.
Yeah.
I'm not
What's
sure.
the other one on Barry Road on the right-hand side? Is that
I don't know. I haven't been up there in years.
just outside of the center of
Yeah,
town?
that's right next to, I can't think of that. It's right near the cutoff road. Right on the
Right,
right.
I
There's
think they have
2
a
units up there.
And I'm not sure about Madison Green.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, anyways,
Should probably put it on our agenda under
Old business.
old
there's
business.
been enough real estate activity in town and all of those units, especially even the one across from Calico and Cream. So somebody had to do a Title V on them at transfer, and that's
Right.
quite busy in the last 3 years with the condos. So if we have to, we can pull them on that file if the assessors aren't available to do it.
Yeah, I do think that they should all be notified within the next month. Yep, so there's Mount Jeff. There's, what was the other one you said, Bill? Briarwood? It's
Yeah,
common.
Is it
we'll have to
Pondview?
look them up. There's two on Barry Road, Briarwood and the other one.
Is it Pondview, Bill?
Yes,
Pondview?
yeah, I think so. And I can't think of the one across from Rieta. What's the name of that one?
That's Silverleaf Hollow,
Correct, and then you have the other one on the other side of the pond.
Madison Green. We have Moosehorn on Old Princeton, and I can't think of the name of the one across the street from Calico and Cream on the corner of Mount Jefferson.
And I know that one, I can't think of it.
I think that's
It's Pine Tree Lane.
Pine Tree.
Pine Tree Lane's the name of the road. Is that the name of the?
I
Because I
think
call
it
it,
Yeah.
we call it Pine Tree, but I don't recall the name of the facility.
Oh, on that one, the only, so every system that's shared is every 3 years. So that includes any properties in town that might, like if it's two properties together and share a system. Do we know any of those in town that do? Like mom and dad built a house for so-and-so, so-and-so tied into that system?
Well, the regulations only specify condominiums.
No, this one right here too, it's right under it. When property is divided or ownership of two or more properties is combined. And then every 3 years for a shared system, period. So
The only one I know of, Vinny, is the one up on Ragged Hill Road on the left-hand side.
I don't think they have a shared system, do they?
I don't know.
No, I don't know that one either. That would probably be the only one, because the zoning is pretty strict for that, and we gave them a special permit for that situation.
They came to the ZBA for that years ago too.
all right, so maybe I'll look to see if I can thumb through some of the special permits to see if there's any more.
And that property also transferred ownership, so that should have it in their file as well.
Okay.
That sold some years ago.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who bought it, but
Yeah, so there's.
Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And same with, I don't know if we have any large systems, any systems that have a capacity between 10,000 and 15,000 gallons per day. But they also have a regulation where those need to be inspected every 5 years. So we should probably start, if we're going to start enforcing one-time regulation, we should look into making sure all of them are. Then maybe we can put forth some kind of schedule for the Board of Health in future to follow, so that it doesn't slip through the cracks again.
Well, I'd say
Idea.
we should put it on our agenda then,
Yeah.
because it's always there at every meeting, so we don't. forget.
Yeah. Okay.
well, once we establish a schedule, if we send out a letter to XYZ condominium asking them for their most recent Title V report, then that will establish a baseline, and we'll know if it was 5 years ago, we'll request them to have another one done. And then we can get them on a schedule of every.
Right. The other one would be the hub house.
That might be also.
I know that's a shared system.
And they just did an upgrade on that
Yeah, because they had a problem.
years
with
ago.
it.
3 years maybe.
This might be a little bit of a bigger project than just condos.
Well,
Yeah.
the system on Old Burnt Shirt Road out there, the nonprofit there at the old Hield Estate.
Mission E4.
Mission E4. They may have a community system.
They have multiple systems, don't they?
Yeah, they have multiple
I-
systems.
I don't
And,
recall.
so, I mean,
Maybe Burton's system out there.
Oh, yes.
so if we need to first identify systems that are on a time basis, I think that's step one.
Right.
Get together a list. And
Make a
then,
list.
we can approach them by type, send out letters and put them on a calendar that's shared for like a reminder, right?
Yep. That's about all we have to know. It's up to
Is
them.
this something we should ask to meet with the people or go talk to them instead of just sending them a letter? Or would a letter suffice?
I think a letter's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a notification that, according to state regulations, your system needs to be Title V inspected every 3 years. Please send us your most recent inspection report so we have it on file. And that would probably jar, they probably don't even know it either. I mean, that's a good
Probably not.
possibility.
Well,
Nobody master documents, master deeds are very complicated.
All right,
Now
any more
we're gonna
discussion,
be
folks?
making- We're gonna
Oh, I'm sorry.
be making good
I
use
keep-
of all those Google calendars, Mallory.
what?
I can't hear you, Kate.
We're gonna be making good use of. That's because you keep talking every time I talk, Bill.
Sorry.
I said we're gonna be making good use of the Google calendars.
Right?
Those will work good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any more discussion, any more items? Hearing none, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Bye-bye.